Welcome to the Fret Frontier. This episode will continue to take a look at the Pulmonica and will serve as a lesson on how to take a regular song from a diatonic blues harmonica songbook and translate it so you can play it on your Pulmonica. In our last Pulmonica episode, we talked about what the Pulmonica actually is, and that is a therapeutic device for helping improve and strengthen your lung function, helps clear and drain the sinuses, encourages belly breathing to reduce anxiety, and is tuned to the key of G. So just as a review, here is a snapshot of the differences between a diatonic 10-note harmonica, blues harmonica, and the Pulmonica. So the Pulmonica is tuned to an actual G scale and targeted towards non-musicians because it's in the G scale. Every time you breathe in and out, you're basically producing a chord from the key of G major scale, so you always sound great. So I just give you an example. If you just use this harmonica, breathing in and out, you can make up any number of lovely songs while you're also getting therapy for your lungs. Okay, so that's the concept behind it. But it is a musical instrument. So when you get a Pulmonica, although it's targeted to non-musicians, you are a musician. Yes, you are. You are, and you're a good one too, because every time you breathe in and out of this thing, it sounds great. But you might want to play regular songs, right? You're a musician now. You have a musical instrument. So let's take a look then at our diatonic harmonica song. We're going to use Michael Row the Boat Ashore. So what I will show you now on the screen is a layout of Michael Row the Boat Ashore as it would be played on a diatonic harmonica. Now when you get a songbook for your regular blues harmonica, they will show you generally the lyrics and then a numbering system telling you which hole to either blow or draw in, and then they'll give you a legend for what they are using for blow to represent exhaling air into the harmonica and what they are using for draw, which would be to pull air over the reeds in the harmonica by inhaling. Sometimes they will use up and down arrows. Sometimes they'll use minus signs and plus signs. Occasionally they will circle one of the numbers to represent draw versus blow. But in this particular case, since we're creating maps for this, we're going to just make a map that shows B for blow and D for draw. So here, let me just play the song for you on a harmonica that is diatonically tuned. This is the Suzuki Blues Master in the key of C. Excellent harmonica. If you're new to the harmonica, you try to focus on the actual note that they're telling you to blow or draw into. And you do that by just pursing your mouth a little bit so that you focus the air into that particular hole or pull it out of that particular hole. If you get an extra hole, it will still sound okay. Listen and make sure that it's sounding okay to you. So as I play, I'll do both things. I'll focus on just blowing into the hole and getting just a sound. And I'll also let some of the other holes bleed through so you can still hear the song. It'll still sound okay. So here we go. Michael Row the Boat Ashore. Okay, so that's our song. Now we're going to take the notes that we have from the diatonic harmonica and find their equivalents on our Pulmonica so we can play the same song and make it sound the way that we expect to hear it. So on the screen now, you will see a mapping for all of the notes from the diatonic harmonica and their equivalents on the pulmonica. So one diagram, one table collection shows all of the blow notes. And the second table collection shows all of the draw notes. So as you see a number and a direction, either blow or draw, from your songbook, you will check to see the equivalent note for your pulmonica, and you could either write that into your book underneath the note that you see, or you can make a copy of your page if you don't like writing in your songbooks, and then keep that page as your translation, and now you'll be able to play the song on the pulmonica. So let's walk through that on Michael Rowed the Boat Ashore. Let's take a look at the first three notes of our song. We start off with a diatonic blow on the fourth hole. So on the fourth hole, we're being directed to exhale into the harmonica in that fourth note. So when you take a look at your pulmonica or your diatonic harmonica, you'll have numbers across the top of your metal case. And they start, the number system starts with your lowest note off to the left-hand side, number 1, and then they are sequentially numbered up to 10, which is the right-hand side of your harmonica. So what you want to do is make sure you're starting off on the number that they tell you. In this case, first we want to check and see what the equivalent is for the pulmonica. Is it the same instruction, or do you have to change the way you approach that note? And when we look at our table, you'll see that 4B, or a blow note on the diatonic harmonica, has to be played as a draw note on the fourth hole in your pulmonica. So that's the equivalent note. So if you want to hear the same sound, even though it will sound lower on your pulmonica, you need to be drawing air out of that fourth hole. Similarly, when we get to our next note, the second half of the word Michael, we would, on the diatonic harmonica, blow into the fifth hole. But the equivalent note on our pulmonica, if you take a look at our table, is still the fifth hole, but you need to draw air out of that hole. Then we get to row, the word row, in our song, and that is on the diatonic harmonica, the sixth hole, and the instruction is to blow. We take a look at our equivalency map, and we'll see that for the pulmonica, when we're trying to get that same sound, we're going to want to draw air out of the sixth hole using our equivalency map. Okay? Let's take a look at our second row. So far we've seen only the blow notes. When we take a look at our second row in the song, our lyrics, we see that under the word boat for our diatonic harmonica, we're being instructed to draw air across that particular hole. But when we look at our equivalency map, when you need to play the same sound or the equivalent tone, we're going to want to actually be in the sixth hole, and we'll want to blow air into that. So you can just use this map to translate whatever you see in your diatonic songbook to the appropriate sound on the pulmonica. So now let's take a look at the word shore. We're instructed that in the word shore on a diatonic harmonica, we're going to draw air out of the harmonica on hole 4. But for the pulmonica, we're going to blow air into the fifth hole to get the same sound. Okay, so I've gone through and I have made those translations for Michael Rowed the Boat Ashore. So now you'll see up on the screen how you would play this for the pulmonica, and I've highlighted that line underneath there. And now we'll take a listen to that, and we should be hearing Michael Rowed the Boat Ashore, although we're playing slightly different notes because of the different mapping between the two harmonicas. We can get the same song, but we have to make the adjustments so that we are creating the correct tones that the ear wants to hear to produce that song. Okay, Okay, so that's how you would go through and figure out how to do your notes in any diatonic songbook that you might want to buy so that you could play them on your pulmonica as part of your therapy. And you will notice when you play the pulmonica, if you are already playing diatonic harmonica, that you get quite a workout. The way your diatonic harmonica is tuned, you'll notice now is really kind of ingenious, because by the time you're playing a song and you go like, man, I really need to change the direction I'm blowing the air in, the song is naturally following that pattern, the way that it's laid out on a diatonic harmonica. Just playing the straight key of G in and out each note throughout your harmonica the way that it's tuned on the pulmonica doesn't always take into consideration when you're going to want to breathe, so you really feel it sometimes at the end of some of those lines. So it's a good workout for your lungs and good for your musical enjoyment. So remember, if you got a musical instrument, you are a musician. So go ahead and enjoy it. Enjoy it to the full. Play your chords, get your full dose of therapy, and play your songs for your own enjoyment. Still getting therapy, learning how to work with your music books, and just joyfully exploring the musical wilderness. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.